Yes, good afternoon or good morning, sorry. It's Eddie G's Music World with another song to be analyzed. I will not be playing the music. I will just be discussing because you all know the song. It was towards the end of Billy Joel's output of music, which he could shock us and do another record if he feels like it, but he doesn't. Um, it was a number one hit pretty much everywhere in the world. A lot of there is some kind of analysis out there on the web, but I did not look at it because I really want to just be off the cuff and kind of give you my thoughts about the words without having somebody explain it to me. I just explained it to myself by listening and analyzing the words. I'm gonna go send this off to somewhere out in Twitterverse. One second. I'm just gonna put this down. Hey, should take care of that. Let's get back to it. Eddie G's Music World discussing We Didn't Start the Fire lyrics by Billy Joel. A lot of hot topics of the time and going over things. So let's see how it begins. Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray. Well, Harry Truman was a president. Doris Day was a big actress, singer. Red China must have been the politics of the time with Mao, or maybe he's talking about that. Johnny Ray was crying. He had a song called "Crying," a singer in the late 50s. I believe I spoke to him because he was being interviewed once. So that's the opening line. Where are we going with this? South Pacific, Walter Winchell and Joe DiMaggio. South Pacific refers to the something that happened there. Must have been like maybe Pearl Harbor. I'm not sure. Walter Winchell, I believe he was some kind of a reporter that was popular back in the late 50s. Joe DiMaggio is well known as a great baseball player. Hit many home runs. Married Marilyn Monroe, famous for that. So this is where Billy's head's at. Now we're going to the next line. Joe McCarthy. Well, he spurred on some anti-communist court dramas where he was outing people as being communists. So he was in the news a lot in the 50s. Richard Nixon, ex-president, disgraced, we know. Studebaker, a famous car back then, and television. That's because television started getting popular in the late 50s, early 50s. North Korea, South Korea, Marilyn Monroe. So obviously Marilyn Monroe, famous back then in the late 50s, and Joe DiMaggio was married to her. South Korea must have been the Korean War. So let's see how we're doing. For time, there's no issue with time because I got lots of it. Let's see. I do hope it's coming out clear. If somebody ever comes on, you can make sure it does. But here we go. Let's keep rolling into the We Didn't Start the Fire. Rosenberg's H bomb, Sugar Ray, Panmunjom. Now, Rosenbergs were spies for the Russians. H bomb, hydrogen bomb, must have been, it's going into the 40s, maybe late 40s. Sugar Ray was Sugar Ray Robinson, famous boxer. Panmunjom must have been a city in Korea, one of the Koreas or Vietnam, I don't really know. Brando, the King and I, and the Catcher in the Rye. Well, Brando was getting big at the time, had a huge career, and the sometime in the 50s was his peak, pretty much, unless you count The Godfather as his peak. I don't know. The King and I know that was a movie or a play or something, but that's as far as I can tell. The Catcher in the Rye, that was a book, the controversial book that was written, and he was a reclusive guy. He passed away, but very big in the 50s. Eisenhower vaccine, England's got a new queen. Okay, so now we're dealing with a long time back still. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. Vaccine, one of the vaccines could have been polio, I believe. England's got a new queen. Well, now she just passed away about a year ago, but then she was new. Marciano, Rocky Marciano was a boxer. Liberace, a gay piano player who died of AIDS. very fine, famous. Santayana, goodbye, Santayana. That see, I'm going through the second piece of this song, second um, section, and I'm already at a word I don't know. You see, it's not as easy as I thought it would be. But that's the point. I'm not looking it up. I'm just giving you what I think it is. Here's the chorus. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't light it, but we tried to fight it. I guess I don't know what it's meaning. Other people, other generations were at it with different things before we were arrived. Next, Joseph Stalin, Malenkov, Nasser, and Prokofiev. Now, Stalin was the leader of Russia, so we know him. Malenkov, I don't know. Nasser was in Egypt, and Prokofiev, I'm not sure. Rockefeller, Campanella, Communist Bloc. Now, Rockefeller was a famous billionaire in New York, was in politics, but he was very big in the 50s, well known at least. I think it's Luke, or is it Al Campanella? He was a great ball player. Obviously, communist bloc. Roy Cohn, Juan Perón, Toscanini, Dacron. I'm going to have a hard time with that one. Roy Cohn, I think he was I'm getting a mix up with Sammy Cohn, who wrote a lot of popular songs for Frank Sinatra. So Roy Cohn, I'm not sure. Juan Perón, I'm going to think Argentina, but I don't really know for sure. Toscanini, I think he was an opera singer. Dacron, I think that was like a Velcro. It was some kind of a fabric, okay? I'm not sure if it was really Velcro per se, but it was. Here, I'm going to go and tweet this out again to people. Maybe I'll catch a stray. Not too easy. Here we go. Let's just throw it out there again. Maybe there could be one person coming in. Back to the words. Um, Dien Dien Bien Phu Falls, rock around the clock. Dien Bien Phu Falls must have been something about Korea again, North Korea. And Rock Around the Clock is one of these early rock songs by Bill Haley in the comments. Now we're venturing into another paragraph. Einstein, James Dean, Brooklyn's got a winning team. Brooklyn Dodgers, I'm assuming. Obviously, James Dean was a big star. Einstein was well known for being a mathematician. James Dean passed away in the early 60s. And let's see. This is Eddie G's Music World analyzing We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. And I'm still going. Okay. Davy Crockett was a popular TV show. Peter Pan was a fabled story. Elvis Presley, I don't have to explain. Disneyland must have just started. Bardot, Budapest, Alabama, Khrushchev. Okay, Brigitte Bardot, Budapest, Hungary must have become communist around this time. Alabama was kind of considered, don't get mad at me, because and a lot of nice Alabamans like Charles Barkley, but I guess it was a bit southern and maybe not too nice to the black people, so they threw it in the lyrics. Khrushchev was the leader of Russia at the time. Princess Grace, Peyton Place, Trouble in the Suez. Princess Grace. That's Monaco thing. I think it was Grace Kelly who was an actress. So she was big then. Peyton Place was a big TV show. I've seen they reran it in the 90s or 80s, I think, and it was pretty good. The main star was Mia Farrow, or at least one of the stars, who eventually went on to marry Woody Allen and had a difficult problem. Trouble in the Suez Canal, Egypt. Isn't there always trouble? There must have been some kind of war there. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't fight it, but we tried to fight. No, we didn't light it, but we tried to fight it. So those are all pretty much self-explanatory. Chorus. Next. Little Rock, Pasternak, Mickey Mantle, Kerouac. Okay, Little Rock was in Arkansas. I don't know what went on there. Probably something with blacks movement for the black people. Pasternak, I really don't know. Mickey Mantle, great ball player. Kerouac, he wrote a lot of poems. I know that. Sputnik, Chu and Lai Bridge on the River Kwai. Sputnik was a Russian space thing they threw up in space. Chu and Lai was leader of China. Bridge on the River Kwai, a movie I used to like back in the day. Lebanon, Charles de Gaulle, California baseball. Lebanon, Must have been a war there. Charles de Gaulle, the leader of France. Um, California baseball must have been when Brooklyn Dodgers went to L.A. to be the L.A. Dodgers. Charles de Gaulle, I'm not sure why he was a big deal to put him in the song. He's a big deal in Quebec because what he did in Quebec is he spurred on the sovereigntist movement by saying Vive le Québec libre. Vive le Québec libre. And then all these French people got all excited and started forming groups of. Anyway, don't have to go into too much detail. Next. Okay. The next one, Little Rock. Oh, I did that. Stark Weather homicide, children of the Thalidomide. Stark Weather. I think he was a mass killer. Children of Thalidomide. I used to see them in the 60s. They had short arms and a lot of times because of medication their mothers took when they were pregnant, and then the medication was pulled off the market, but the people born with small little arms, pretty much too late for them. Buddy Holly, Ben Hur, Space Monkey Mafia. Okay, Buddy Holly, maybe because that was when the music died and the plane crashed. Ben Hur was a movie came out with Charlton Heston about biblical times. Space Monkey, they threw a monkey in space. Mafia. I guess the mafia was getting popular. Hula hoops, Castro, Edsel is a no-go. Okay, hula hoops fad from the 60s, lasted a while. Castro became the leader of Cuba, Fidel. Edsel is a no-go. I think it was a car that came out and it wasn't popular. U2, Sigmund Ray. Those when I say U2, it's not the group. It's the bomber or something or some kind of a plane. Sigmund Ray, I don't know what that is. Payola and Kennedy. Payola was paying DJs and power movers money to play the record to get them up the charts to make them sell better. And Kennedy must be John F. Kennedy becoming elected or him being killed. Chubber Checker Psycho, Belgians in the Congo. Chubby Checker, of course, was huge. And the twist, I did meet him in the 2012. Nice enough guy. Didn't talk, but he signed my paper. We saw him live. Psycho is the movie that was big from Alfred Hitchcock. I think Janet Leigh was in it. The mother of I forget. Jennifer, and whatever her name is, Jamie Lee Curtis. Belgians in the Congo. I don't know anything about it. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't light it, but we tried to fight it. Hemingway, Eichmann, Stranger in a Strange Land. Okay, Hemingway, Ernest Hemingway wrote a lot of books. We all know about him. Eichmann was a German Nazi that was hiding out. So that's why they say Stranger in a Strange Land. I think he was hiding out in Argentina, was a Nazi monster that was not good to the people. Okay, we're headed down the list. Dylan Berlin, Bay of Pigs invasion. Bob Dylan became big. Berlin, I guess that was when must have been something about the war there. I don't remember. Bay of Pigs invasion. I think that's when the United States invaded Cuba. The Bay of Pigs. Lawrence of, or maybe they didn't invade them. They did something with some kind of attempt there. I don't remember. Lawrence of Arabia, British Beatlemania. Lawrence of Arabia, famous movie. I saw it live, not live, but I saw it in the theater. British Beatlemania is pretty much self-explanatory. Ole Miss, John Glenn, Liston beats Patterson. Ole Miss, well, it's a football team there, but they must have won the championship or something. John Glenn went and landed on the moon. Liston beats Patterson. That's Sonny Liston beating, I forget the guy's first name, Patterson, but they were a boxing bout. Pope Paul, Malcolm X, British politician sex. Okay. Pope Paul, we know, is a pope. Malcolm X was spoke for the black people in words. He led a movement. British politician sex. I don't remember what that was about. JFK blown away. What else do I have to say? So John F. Kennedy was killed. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't light it, but we tried to fight it. We're getting close. Oh my God, Billy's got a lot more lyrics left here. Birth control, Ho Chi Minh, Richard Nixon back again. Oh, I think birth control must have been when the pills started coming out. Ho Chi Minh, I know Ho Chi Minh Trail, but I don't remember what else he did that was great in China. Richard Nixon back again. It's because he in 1964 or two or no 1960 or 64 he did try to become the president, and it didn't work out until later, of course. Uh, Moonshot, Woodstock, Watergate, punk rock, Moonshot. That must have been landing on the moon, or if it wasn't, someone else can explain if you're listening. Woodstock, the great festival, of course. Watergate, the great scandal with Nixon, of course. Where anyway, I don't have to go into whole detail about it. Punk rock, yeah, punk rock was kind of getting big. The Sex Pistols and different bands of that ilk coming out and becoming big. Er, Begin, Reagan, Palestinian terror on the airline. Begin, that was the prime minister of Israel at the time, must have been maybe early 70s. Reagan, that was later in the 80s, maybe early. Palestine, which is constantly dealing with fights and wars. Terror on the airline, it must have been the fight in Entebbe, which was some kind of rescue of a bunch of hostages and stuff. Ayatollah in Iran, Russians in Afghanistan. Well, that's how it was. Ayatollah Khomeini was running Iran, and Russians invaded Afghanistan. And they did it again too. And I don't know who did it again, but they were invaded recently, and it stopped. Let's see if anybody's there. Wow, it's a huge crowd. Eddie G's Music World, analyzing We Didn't Start the Fire. We're coming towards the last piece of this. Uh, Let me see. Wheel of Fortune, Sally Ride, Heavy Metal Suicide. Okay, Wheel of Fortune was big in the mid 80s. Started. That must be there. Sally Ride was one of the astronauts that died in the some kind of explosion in the space. Heavy Metal Suicide was like where these two kids were listening to, I think it was Judas Priest. I can't remember the song. Oh, I forget. It doesn't matter. You can figure it out. But they killed themselves, and the song was playing by Judas Priest. Now, if I can, of course, I know the song off by heart, but now my brain is sizzling out, and I don't remember the name of this song. Foreign debts, homeless vets, AIDS, crack, Bernie gets. Foreign debts, well, that's always something going on by the governments. Homeless vets, yeah, that's common, still going on. Vets come back and they're homeless, and not enough people care. AIDS, of course, we all know what AIDS is, the disease that people get for certain situations. Crack, very popular still, drug. Bernie Getz, the guy who killed people in the subway because they were trying to rob him. Hypodermics on the shore. China's under martial law. Hypodermics, I guess the needles were washing up on the shore from druggies. China's under martial law. I guess it was for them. Rock and roller cola wars. Yeah, that's been going on for a while. Pepsi and Coke. I can't take it anymore. Yeah, Billy. I know it bugged you, and you did a great song about it. Let's end this off with repeating the chorus as often as Billy did. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire, but when we are gone, it will still burn on and 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 on. That's true. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't light it, but we tried to fight it. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't light it, but we tried to fight it. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't light it, but we tried to fight it. Well, thank you, Mr. Joel, for blessing us with this timepiece that goes over the world's woes and happiness and sadness and everything. You put it all into one bow. And I did see you live around 2010, and well, you did the song. I don't know how the hell you remember all those words, but anyway, you wrote them, so that could be a reason. Anyway, Eddie G's Music World for June 12th, 2023. Thank you.